So excited to be joined right now by Kristen Benyon. She's with Intimate Connections Counseling. She is a certified sex therapist. Now, we know that couples would maybe come in to talk to you about questions or issues they're having, but something that I think is important that you were saying is that parents are coming in, talking and asking you how to start the conversation about sex with their kids and when to do it. So you're saying start early. How do we start?
I usually say you're already talking about this. You know, it's not that we are sexualizing young kiddos, but we are educating them about sexuality, about their bodies, about gender, about how we can relate to the world. We talk about values and also information. So we try to give them information and also often instilling values. Then that's how we orient our lives. And so we start from the get-go.
And you don't even realize sometimes that you've started this. And that's what I think is important. Even if you aren't saying the word and having a specific talk with them, you're leading by example. Now, it's not just about sex, the act of sex, it's also about building relationships.
Yep, absolutely.
How would you recommend that we teach kids about that?
Well, especially with the young ones and even more so with like teenager and on up, it's about respecting our bodies and you know, expecting that, but also respecting that of others, and also and then negotiating that. So often I work with teenagers, and sometimes I'll say I'll have them break down how they are negotiating which movie to go to on a date or something. Like, was that person respectful of your opinion too, or or was it just all about them? So that's sex education, really, right? It's relationship education, but it is all under the domain of sex education.
I feel like when parents are coming into this, sometimes it's overwhelming. We don't know where to begin. We don't know how to begin. What would you suggest?
Absolutely. I think, well, I have some good news. You're off the hook for needing to feel like you have every single articulate word down, that you have to know everything there is. If you're uncomfortable, just talk about it, because that's also, or tell them, I'm uncomfortable, but I find this topic so important that I'm going to talk to you about it anyway, and we're going to figure out the answers together if we don't know. I mean, that is a beautiful thing to model for your kiddos at any age, really.
And that's starting then, and you mentioned you also meet with teenagers, and you said they come in and you kind of talk about the relationship and starting with that. But what other advice, what other things do you meet with them about?
It is really important that they have enough information, right? Enough information to be able to migrate potentially sexual situations, which even if they're not engaging in anything with another person, they're dating, and they need to know how to negotiate their own values, their own desires and those types of things, while respecting the person they're with, but also with themselves, because there's still a lot of pressure out there to take care of the other person's feelings. We don't want to hurt their feelings, and often that comes at self-betrayal, and that can be really devastating, and so.
I love that you bring up that sex isn't just about intercourse, it's also about the intimacy and the relationship that you are creating with them. So something that we kind of tend to expect the schools and family life to be teaching our kids is all of the things, importance of STDs and contraception. Is that something that you go over with the kids, or you really feel like the parents should be talking to them about?
Parents are ideal. They absolutely are ideal. I think that the research still shows that if parents are the main ones giving that information, it's has a lot better outcomes, right? But some kiddos aren't in a situation where they can talk to their parents, and so I often can be kind of a backup or kind of help the parents make sure they're hitting really important things. But one thing that is really important is to not start with what we're afraid of that they're going to do. Always start with what we want for them, what we hope for them, in healthy, vibrant ways of relating to themselves and to others, and give them enough information to be able to have safer sex practices when they are ready.
Such valuable information that you brought here today, Kristen. Thank you for being with us. For more information, of course, you can find out at Intimate Connections Counseling. But you also have an Instagram. Tell everyone about your Instagram.
Oh, just follow me if you want more information. I'm constantly posting about things I find interesting. It's Kristen Marie Benyon on Instagram.
Well, and that's such a great resource, because I feel like as parents we need all of the resources that we can get, especially when it comes to educating our kids about the birds and the bees. Kristen, thank you so much for being here today. We'll be right back.